Hey guys, it's Vornskyr here, and today we're back in Farming Sim 15, and we're actually going to do some farming, if you can believe that, instead of all the forestry stuff that I've done lately. So what we're actually going to do today is have a look at the different ways to make silage and how you use that as well. Silage is a pretty important component of feeding animals, like the cows and the sheep, and it can also be sold for decent cash. If I bring up the store price things, I go over to the left a bit. Still going, there we go. So it sells for 1,500 per ton at the biogas plant, and that's on a kind of downwards trend, so it can generally go for a bit more than that. So that's it's pretty useful. It's good stuff to know how to do. It's not too difficult, although it is fairly manual. So there's two decent ways to do it. The first one is cheaper, but it takes a bit longer. So this is basically using the mowing tools and just, mowing some grass. So let's just take a look at this quickly. I've got my mower attachment on the front of the tractor, and this is an entire field that I've just seeded with grass. So you don't have to do that, obviously. There's plenty of grass just all over the place. But having a field seeded means that it's nice and easy to just do straight lines, which I find useful, and I'm pressing the wrong buttons all over the place here. Alright, so let's turn on the mower, and we'll lower the thing, which is useful. There we go. And now we are mowing the grass. So I'm not going to do very much of this because doing the whole field would obviously take forever. This is just to give you guys an idea of how to do it. So we'll go up here, and even that's probably far enough. So I'll turn the mower off, I'll turn around and go back the other way. Because you see the way this mower works, it cuts kind of either side of the tractor. So to get both sides, you just want to do this. And that works easily. The only problem with this mower is that sometimes it skips over bumps and kind of jumps up and down, which means you kind of miss patches, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, there's so much grass around anyway, you got plenty of it, so missing a bit doesn't really matter. Alright, so that'll do. Turn that off there. And now I'm going to get the windrower. I'm not going to bother with the tedder. The tedder is used to kind of dry the grass out, I guess. I think that's only useful for hay, but I don't know, I'm not really sure. So let's drop this here. I like dropping all my tools, especially for the mowing stuff. I just like having it in the order that I use it, so you never get confused about what part comes next. So basically mower, tedder, windrower, and then the foraging wagon. But like I said, I'm not going to use the tedder for this part. Okay, so we've got this windrower. Now you don't really need to use this, to be honest. I like using it for this because it makes things simpler with the forage wagon. Because the forage wagon, you just drag it over the grass and it sucks it all up. But the windrower makes it into one nice row, rather than having to do multiple lines, like go up and down a few times. You can just go over it once. So let's turn the windrower on. There we go. And I'll zoom out a bit so we can actually see it do its thing. And there we go. You can see that it's making just one nice solid line there. And it does also bounce about all over the place sometimes, which is a little annoying. So keep on going, almost done. And there we go, so I'll turn this off. And this is the, at least everything I'm showing you with this is going to be just how you do it unmodified, although I do have a few mods installed, but I'm not going to use any mods for this. So these are all the widest tools that you can get for the mowing stuff. I mean, you don't have to use stuff like this, obviously. This is the more expensive gear, but it's also faster to use, faster to do it. So let's hook up to the forage wagon here. There we go. And you got to remember to lower the pickup on this, so press V to do that. You see I've already got a bit of grass in here. And now I'm going to turn the forage wagon on by pressing B, and we'll just drive over this, and you can see it's just collecting the grass. Nice and easy. You can use this same wagon to pick up straw and that stuff as well, like when you've been harvesting wheat, the straw is what's left over. So that's all of it. That was just a small amount of grass, and now you want to drive it over to the drop-off point where it becomes silage. So there's one right here. This is where the cows are, basically. I'll actually show you on the map where I am. So you see that green flashing point near the cow symbol down at the bottom left, near field number 40. That is where I am. So that's one place. So we can actually just unload this grass right here. So I might as well do that. So basically, if you're making the silage to feed the cows, this is the best place to drop it. Right here. Cool, so that's empty, and that's all good. Now you see it has a, if you look in the top left corner, you can see the fill level and the compacting. So what you have to do, before you can actually make silage, you have to compact what you've just put into it. And you compact it by driving over it with the tractor. So yeah, just kind of backwards and forwards until it reaches 100%. So keep going. Backwards and forwards. And it's going a bit slower because I've got this wagon thing weighing it down. But there we go, okay. So we've made that to 100% compacted. And let me park that there. Let's jump out of the tractor. And you can see that the fill level is at 15%. Now once the fill level reaches 10%, you get the option to blanket the silo. Or once it's at 10% and 100% compacted. So because it's at 15%, obviously that's above 10%. So let's press R and it will blanket it. And then you get this happening. And so now it's fermenting. So it doesn't take too long to ferment. Especially if you increase the game time, you just do it up to 120 times, it'll ferment in no time. And there you go, once that's done, you'll have silage. So that is one way of doing it with grass and everything. Now there's a far more efficient way, as I tab through my vehicles, here we go. So this is a far more efficient way, but it's also a hell of a lot more expensive. So if I bring up my harvesters here, this is the Krone Big X 1100. Just the thing itself, with no additional, like with none of the, what are they called, the headers, is 415 grand. The headers are, I use two of them. I use the X disc and the Easy Collect, and that's like 80 grand as well, the two of those. So this is expensive as fuck, basically. But it works really well. So this is the corn header, and it basically, what this thing does, I'll explain that first. It just creates chaff, and chaff is also used to create silage. So let's turn this on. You see I'm carrying two trailers here. It only attaches to a couple of different types of trailers. The Flegel bulls, whatever they're called, these are the best ones to use in my experience, and you can obviously hook two of them together and it fills both of them up. So let's turn the harvester on. And you see instead of collecting corn, it's collecting chaff. And it's collecting a fair bit of it too. So let's just drive over this. We'll do one line of this. As the trailers are filling up pretty well. So this is definitely a faster way of doing it, like you collect a lot more than just mowing the grass. But it's also, as I said, it's a lot more expensive. You also need to seed the field with corn and everything. So, and you're not going to get, well, you're not going to get money back for the corn, but if you choose to sell the silage, you're going to get a lot more money back. So, you know, it all kind of balances out, I guess. Alright, so that's, whatever, that's enough corn. So that is the corn header. If I just drop it here. And now I gotta get away from it without running it over. So let's look at the other type of header, which I think was called the X disc, I think? I don't know. So I've got that just stored down this other side. And what this X disc is good for, you can also use it to collect grass, or to collect other types of crops. So this is canola crop, right here. And I can actually just turn this into chaff if I want to, and then obviously turn that into silage. Now, it's probably not the most efficient way of doing it. I think you'd be far better off just doing corn or whatever, than by collecting this, you know, canola, which is a fairly decent selling crop, but whatever. So we turn it on, and you can see actually if I go over it, you can see it'll also pick up some of this grass, as you can kind of see there. The other thing is, once you're carrying two full trailers, it really doesn't like driving up hills. It's going pretty slow right now. In fact, I'm going to have to turn that off, just so that it can make it up the hill. Alright, well anyway, turn it back on. And you can see it is collecting the canola. But it's going so slow that it's having a real trouble with it. This is just because the trailers are both full, which is kind of making a mess of it. Or almost full, not quite completely full. Let's pick up a bit of speed, then we'll drop it down. There we go. So you can see that's taking the canola crop and turning it straight into chaff. So So probably a bit wasteful of the crop, realistically. I think there's better ways of doing it. But if this is the only thing you've got, or if you're doing a really a low, like a crop that doesn't sell for much, like wheat or something, then you can do this. Although realistically, you'd probably want to use a proper harvester for wheat so that you get the straw out the back of it. But this is also good for collecting grass, so, you know, whatever. So that's, now that we've got these filled, I'll drive this harvester. Actually, I'm not going to drive the harvester, I'll put a tractor on it, I think. Give me 1 second, and I'll cut forwards to a point where I've connected a tractor to these trailers so that it drives faster. Alright, so I've connected this tractor up to the 2 trailers so that I can take it to the biogas plant? Wherever. I'll take it to the place where you create and sell silage rather than the cow farm. And I'm using the tractor just because it's a lot faster than the harvester. So it's a little bit of a drive. You see the biogas plant down on the bottom of the map with next to field number 41. That's where we're headed to. So I'll just speed this up or something so you don't have to sit through the whole thing. Alright, so this is the biogas plant. So you can see it's got a lot more of these kind of silage row things, and I've got a bit stored up in this one already. So it's fuel level 5%. These ones hold a lot more, so it takes a lot more. It also takes more silage to get it up to, or more chaff I should say, to get it up to 10%. So let's dump out of these trailers. Hopefully it'll do both of them at the same time. Not really sure if it will or not. There we go. Have to click them one after the other, I guess. Okay, so we're already at 11%, which is good. Okay, so that's that done. Let me just disconnect these trailers up here. Now I'll go compact it, which, as we saw earlier, is just driving over it a bit. There's a lot more in this one, so it'll probably take longer to compact. But it still shouldn't take too long. And I mean, this much, once this is all turned into silage, this much will last for a while. Especially, I mean, if you're using it to feed cows, it'll last for a very long time. If you're using it to sell, well, it'll last as long as you want it to, I guess, realistically. You could always just not sell it straight away and wait for silage to become like in demand or whatever it's called, when it becomes really valuable. So let's blanket that. There we go. And now we wait. So I'm just going to set my time scale up to 120 times. There we go. And I guess I'll come back to it when it's fully fermented. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes, I think, at 120 times speed. Let me just drop that back down actually. Cool. So now our silage has been created, and it should be created at the other place as well, the cow farm thing. So if you want to sell it, this is how you do it. You need a front loader. Well, you don't need a front loader. You need something with a bucket. So that's the front loader, the telly loader, or one of those tractors with the front loader attachments. Telly loader, telly handler, whatever it's called. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, so you just drive into it, scoop it up like this. There we go. That's 6,400 whatevers right there. Units, liters, I don't know. And now to sell it, and sorry about the camera, but that's just how the camera on this vehicle is. It's really shit. To sell it, you just want to drive over to these kind of bucket things, and you're just going to dump it in there. If I get all of it in. There we go. And you can see a number kind of going up to the left there. That's all of it. That's the weight, and you don't actually get any indication, but the money does increase as well. So you do get money for selling it, as you would hope. So we'll do like one more bucket of that. And you can only be selling like 20,000 units of it at any one time, because I guess the thing needs to take time to process it or something. I don't know. It's pretty easy anyway. But I mean, the thing with silage is that it's basically all manual when you're creating it and using it and everything like that. So it's not one of those things that you can really automate. I guess there might be mods to allow automation of it, but yeah, it's fairly manual. So we'll dump this in. You can see my money was increasing again. But yeah, so that's how you sell it. Let's take a really quick look at how you would use it for the cows. And I tab through all my shit again. Still tabbing. There we go. So this is the mixing wagon. This is one of the tools you can use. If I actually bring up the store, we're going to feeding technology, which always sounds super exciting. Not really. So this is the SPV Comfort 12. Basically, it mixes up silage, hay, and straw, and what that creates is something called total mixed ration, which basically you feed the cows that, and the productivity goes up to 100%. So yeah, which is good. That's where they create more milk, they create manure and all that stuff, which is all useful for other things. So if you wanted to collect the silage with this, you've got this thing at the front, so you turn on the mixing wagon, and you can see it's collecting silage. So if we go up to say 20% full, that'll do. So that now has silage in it. So I could dump it straight into the feeding trough, which, if you're wondering where that is, the feeding trough is just down here. Right there. So I can just dump it straight into here, and I think it counts as being food for them if I do that. So let's see. I'm not really sure. Maybe you need to mix it with something else as well. Anyway, it's in there now, so they can do whatever the fuck they want with it. But yes, that's one way you use silage basically. If you're using mods, like I've got a mod, and I'll just show it to you quickly. I'm using a mod that lets me actually store it as well, outside of those, whatever those are called, the pits, whatever, I don't know. So you can see I got a ton of silage stuffed in there. I'll turn the engine off. The thing with this mod is that you also need, once you've got it stored in these containers, to make full use of it, you also need some modded stuff, like either modded buckets for the front loaders or whatever, or a modded mixing wagon that can suck it all up. So basically you start using mods for this stuff, you need to get more mods to make it all work, is what I'm basically saying. But so I think I'll do a video as well on making straw and hay soon, and then on how to make the total mixed ration stuff. It's all pretty simple really, but yes, I mean that's what you need to get 100% productivity out of the cows. And the cows are basically once you've got 100% productivity on them, they're both a source of income, and that's manure that you use for the greenhouses, I think, and you've got the slurry over here as well, which you can use for fertilizing crops and stuff. So cows are just the gift that keeps on giving, basically, if they're really bad eaters too. But yes, that's basically how you make silage and how you use it and sell it. So I hope that's been kind of useful for people out there. But I think I'll probably, and mouse goes crazy, I think I'll probably end this video here. So until next time, I've been Vornskyr. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.